So, welcome back to another episode of the Invincible Journey. And this time we have someone with a lot much of caliber and with a lot much more on the profile. So जो previous episodes आप लोग ने देखे उसके लिए बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा शुक्रिया. And इस बार जो हमारे साथ है वो है सोनाली गुप्ता मैम. And she is a budding entrepreneur who is very passionate about sports, who is the part of the largest sports ecosystem in India. She is the founder and CEO of Go Beyond Sports, and also she owns sports teams like Magi Gasteria, Sportster LLP as well. She is the CCO, that is the Chief Commercial Officer of Dartel, a sports-based SaaS platform. She's serving as the Secretary and Sports Director for a regional chapter of Lions Club International and Antarashtriya Agarwal Sammelan 2020 to 2022. She's been the former founding president at Archana Foundation, Mumbai. She is into a lot of sports, so you cannot judge her through one sport. So she is currently pursuing badminton, playing in the Veterans National Circuit, and had received her black belt in Taekwondo in her teenage years. She's also proficient in various other sports like cricket and snooker. She's an entrepreneur, author, motivational speaker, healer, social media influencer, and much, much more than we think. So she has played various sports as a child, cricket being her primary interest, snooker, badminton, and that is how she defines her interest in the sports field, her passion in the sports field. And we are really grateful and honored to have someone like you. She's also served as Fit India Ambassador after being nominated by the Government of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports for the year 2021 and 2022. Someone who is so dedicated to the sports. We are really honored to have you on the show, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mithilesh. Thank you so much. And thank you very much मुझे बुलाने के लिए.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So before wasting any time, जैसे सब लोग ने भी सुना अभी, and while I was introducing you, मुझे बहुत सारे sports के नाम सुनाई दिए, बहुत सारे sports दिखाई दिए. So which was, since childhood you were like driven through various sports, you played various sports, you were inclined through various sports. So why were you inclined towards sports so much? Because I have never seen someone getting into all the sports. लोग एक specific sport prefer करके आगे बढ़ते हैं, but you have played like everything in a very good way, in a very professional way. So why were you inclined to sports so much?
You know, Mithilesh, हम 80s 90s वाले बच्चे हैं ना, हम काफी अलग सेटअप में बड़े हुए हैं. और हमारा सेटअप ऐसे होता था कि हम स्कूल जाते थे, थोड़ी सी जो पढ़ाई करनी है करते थे और फिर सारा टाइम खेलते थे.
Right.
तो जो मिल जाए खेलने, तो डिपेंडिंग ऑन कितने बच्चे हैं आसपास, अगर ज्यादा है तो हम क्रिकेट फुटबॉल खेल लेते हैं, कम है तो हम बैडमिंटन खेल लेते हैं, कम उससे ज्यादा कम हो तो हम शायद इंडोर गेम्स खेल लेते हैं. तो we used to play our sports based on what was available to us,
Right.
based on our infrastructure that was available to us. And I think growing up, most of us have played sports. We have been engaged in some kind of games. We all have, at least I would vouch for my generation of people, we've all grown up playing a lot of them together. Right. As a community exercise, as an exercise जो बच्चे साथ में करते थे. We obviously can boast कि हम शायद एक last generation थी जिनके पास मोबाइल्स तब नहीं थे.
Right.
हमारे पास electronic gadgets नहीं थे. And इसलिए we used to even invent our own games, because हम क्या करेंगे? Summer vacations meant that you just play sports. You stay indoors and you invent new games. You play whatever board games was available. So I think my interest in sports always was because it was fun, because it was playtime, and obviously you have grown playing it, right? आप बढ़ते हैं sports में, आप obviously sportsman spirit कि इतनी सारी lessons हैं within sports, whether it's discipline, whether it's regime, whether हारना सीखते हैं, रोना सीखते हैं, लड़ना सीखते हैं, मतलब last point पे मरना सीखते हैं, हम सब कुछ सीखते हैं. And I think as a child, those are the things that we grow up with as a value system. And ये understanding सिर्फ तब आती है जब हम आज इतने बड़े होते हैं और हम सोचते हैं कि वाओ, मैंने स्पोर्ट्स से ये सारी चीजें सीखी हैं. As a child who's playing sports, you don't realize कि अच्छा आज मैं discipline सीख रहा हूँ अपने sports से. It's not that. It just becomes a part of you. So I think इसलिए मुझे sports हमेशा ही, I've always enjoyed it. It's a great bonding exercise to be with friends. आज भी मैं बैडमिंटन खेलती हूँ, मेरे लिए it's a good way of being with friends. ये लगता है कि चलो every morning I'm looking forward to playing with my friends. Competition happens because I want to play better and I want to compete and I want to do those kind of things. But अगर वो aspect निकाल भी लें तो भी it is about wanting to do something for yourself. So that's where I come as far as sports is concerned.
राइट सो आपने अभी मेंशन किया अबाउट दैट यूज्ड टू इन्वेंट स्पोर्ट्स पहले ऐसे करते थे जैसे ज़्यादा लोग रहेंगे तो यूज्ड टू प्ले सम डिफरेंट स्पोर्ट्स देन यू यूज्ड टू इन्वेंट स्पोर्ट्स तो थोड़ा ऑफ द ग्रिड क्वेश्चन मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ जैसे अभी वो मिलेनियल्स एंड जेंजी वाला चीज़ है जहाँ पे पीपल आर नाउ लाइक प्लेइंग स्पोर्ट्स ऑन मोबाइल फोन्स बेसिकली फुटबॉल मोबाइल्स में खेल रहे हैं प्ले स्टेशंस में खेल रहे हैं तो डू यू थिंक कि the way people looked at the sports in the previous years, like in your generation and nowadays generation, the Gen Z crowd, the way they are looking at sports, is it changed or is it pretty much the same? Or is it improved or is it in the downfall? What do you think about it?
You know, I think कि आप अगर ये क्वेश्चन हर 5 साल में भी पूछोगे ना तो हमेशा एक अलग ही जवाब मिलेगा. It's definitely changed, right? Because आज स्पोर्ट्स को इतना इम्पोर्टेंस मिल रहा है एज अ करियर. When you played sports, it was not a career. Today, even video games is a career.
Right.
When we got introduced to our first, probably those Ataris and Nintendos, and जब Mario Brothers नया आया था, you know, we played it for fun. हमने कभी ये नहीं सोचा था कि ये Mario Brothers की competition हो सकती है. Of course, आपस में you invent it, right? You just play for fun, but it was never a career. Today, sports is a career. And infrastructure is different. The way you play it is different. So obviously, तब में और आज में बहुत फर्क है.
Right. So moving on, ma'am, you played badminton on the Veterans National Circuit, then black belt in Taekwondo. You played cricket, snooker. You are a defined sports lover, to be honest. Every sport you have played, every sport you have learned something. There are new rules. There is a new way of playing it. बहुत सारे technicalities अलग हो जाते हैं every sports में. So in each of these sports, did it groom you as a person? Did it change you as a person? जिस तरीके से because football is a very contact sport, like physical sport, जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी की जरूरत रहती है. देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स गोइंग ऑन इन योर माइंड. बैडमिंटन थोड़ा स्टैमिना एंड स्टफ्स का गेम है. सो बहुत सारे स्पोर्ट्स में अलग अलग कॉग्निटिव स्किल्स भी इंप्रूव होती है एंड फिजिकल स्ट्रेंथ भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो डिड इट ग्रूम यू एज अ प्लेयर और एज अ पर्सन?
A lot. I think you know, मेरी personal story ये है कि I used to be the only girl who used to play with all the boys. तो मैंने लड़ना जरूर सीख लिया. Because you know, the boys would never give you a chance. They'd say लड़की है, last में खेलना, bowling last मिलेगी, batting last मिलेगी. And I used to fight. I would just go there and I said, नहीं, I will play. I'm a better player than probably the 4 other boys you're sending in front of me just because they're boys. So I think somewhere a patriarchy बहुत ज़्यादा fight की है मैंने for sports. And that has taught me definitely to allow myself to have a voice. You know, ki don't get pushed around. I think sports may also you learn to stand up for yourself. You learn to be seen. You learn to be heard. And even I have experienced it. Obviously, there, you know, as kids, you will have fights. As kids, you know, आप अगर गेम हार गए हो तो आपको 4 और फ्रेंड्स और यार तेरे वजह से गेम हार गए. So you know, you learn to take that loss. You turn to take those kind of bashings. So it all builds your character. So obviously today, आज अगर आप देखें तो veteran पे भी ये चीजें होती हैं. It's not just a childhood thing. Today also 40, 50, 60-year-olds will say, अरे because of you we lost a game. या आपने इतना commitment नहीं दिखाया. You know, agility, like you were saying, every sport demands something different. So obviously in your childhood you could play everything. अगर आप थोड़े से फास्ट रनर हैं तो आपको रनिंग इन बिटवीन द विकेट्स मिलती थी. तब के चलो आप रनर बनेंगे बिकॉज आप फास्ट भागते हैं. सो यू नो, बेस्ड ऑन दैट हम सब एडजस्ट कर लेते हैं. Obviously आज as a you know veteran, when you are looking at your sport, you definitely require certain skills. You know, if I am not very quick, I probably cannot play very good badminton. I would not say that you cannot play badminton, but you probably can't play it at a level which requires you to have that kind of agility and speed and reflex. Then maybe something else is better for me. So obviously based on not only your body type, not only कि आपको क्या पसंद है, आपकी खुद की मेंटल मेकअप कैसी है, उसके बेसिस पे मुझे लगता है आप खुद का स्पॉट चूज कर सकते हैं और स्पॉट आपको उस हिसाब से ही चूज कर लेता है.
राइट। जैसे आपने मेंशन किया अभी कि यू वर द ओनली गर्ल इन इन द बॉयज एंड स्टफ, इससे बहुत ज़्यादा, बिकॉज़ आई हैव आल्सो रिलेटेड दिस इन माय चाइल्डहुड, लाइक जब मैं खेलता था तब देयर वुड बी सम वुमेन फ्रॉम आवर सोसाइटी, कोई लड़कियाँ आती थी और हमारे साथ खेलती थी, एंड तब तब पता नहीं था, वी वर नॉट दैट ग्रोन और दैट मैच्योर्ड कि हाँ, लड़कियाँ भी खेल सकते हैं ये सारी चीज़ें, बट देन दे यूज्ड टू जस्ट प्ले एंड देन दे यूज्ड टू गो। बट टिपिकली प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे भी जब मैंने खेला, प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे, नेशनल लेवल पे जब मैंने खेला, तभी भी मैंने ऑब्जर्व किया द अटेंशन मेल स्पोर्ट्स गेट या फिर द मेन गेट, वो विमेन स्पोर्ट्स में नहीं था उतना, एटलीस्ट व्हेन आई सॉ सर्टेन थिंग्स। एंड आई गेस इसमें बहुत सारे लड़कियों का भी हाथ है, बिकॉज दे डोंट कम एंड सपोर्ट विमेन स्पोर्ट्स ज्यादा जितना दे सपोर्ट विराट कोहली और दे सपोर्ट MS धोनी, दे डोंट सपोर्ट दीज थिंग्स। दैट इज माय पर्सनल ओपिनियन अबाउट थिंग्स। So, do you think is it relating? It is really about the discrimination of women and men in sports, or is it just a awareness kind of thing?
I would say कि unfortunately we were growing up from a time जहाँ men and women were very different.
Right.
हमारे gender roles बहुत अलग थे. हमारी expectations of what a man can do and what a woman can do बहुत अलग थी. हम हमारे probably parents and grandparents की बहुत set lives थी, right? उनका घर काम घर वापस आना, थोड़ा सा आपस में सोशलाइज करना, बच्चों को पढ़ाना लिखाना, उनकी परवरिश करना, that used to be their motto or their way of lifestyle, right? Based on that lifestyle, their distinction between what a man will go out and do and earn money and the woman will stay home, take care of the house, it worked for them.
Right.
Obviously, it's not that women were not ambitious then. It's
Right.
not that they were not capable of playing
Right.
sports. It's not that they were not anything that they are not today. ऐसा नहीं है कि आज की generation की लड़कियां कुछ ज्यादा ही अलग हैं from the ones that were previously. They were all the same even then. But slowly and steadily, the opportunities have started showing up now.
Right.
So if you will compare a cricket that is today, where let's say हम 1940s या 50s या even 70s से देख रहे हैं जब वो popular हुआ है, and whether it was a man or a woman, everybody was supporting cricket at that point in time. Na? We were not supporting a Kapil Dev or a Gavaskar alone, and ये नहीं सोच रहे थे कि oh there is no female Kapil Dev.
Right.
We were only supporting the sport.
Right.
Today, after such a long time, we have come to a place where we have female representation so strongly in every aspect of sport that it was even with the men.
Right.
So I'm very sure it is not a case where women don't support women. Which would be really not the way to put it. The thing here is, are we doing enough to support the women? Now that we know that it is there, they are capable, there are opportunities, there is infra, there is everything available. So the question now is, what can we do from here forward? What can we do to build up the interest equally in women's sport and men's sport? Obviously, at the end of a day, your man's sport will always be slightly more aggressive, slightly more of everything than a woman's sport is. Again, that does not mean that women's sport is not aggressive. That doesn't mean that they are not, but I would only put it down on my personal opinion as a physical makeup. That's only that much difference between a man and a woman physically, and anything that a woman do will never look as aggressive as a man does.
Right.
It's just that. That's the only difference between the sports. There's no difference between the capability of any two of them. Right?
Because
so
now
I think today it is, support is there, but aaja.
Right. नहीं, but the women's sport nowadays, like cricket हो या फिर कोई और sport हो, the way women are coming forward and the way attention भी मिल रहा है या फिर sponsorships भी आ रहे हैं and the way commercialize भी हो रहा है, it's really commendable because women's sports को बहुत bloom मिला है अभी अपने country में, India में, so it's really good. So you wanted to bring an empowerment through sports, for which you founded Magika Steria to back various sports events. So what motivated you for this? What was that trigger point or that motivation for which you founded this to support sport events in India?
Majrika Asteria was the name of my team. It was a throwball team and it was a part of one of the throwball leagues. Majrika Asteria का मतलब Majrika is Greek word for magic. Asteria means stars.
Okay.
So for me it was Magic Stars. अब stars इसलिए because this was a women tournament and my team, when I picked my team, I made a mix of women who probably had loved to play sports in their childhood but had not played it back again. Or women who are coming from various fields. Like we had a doctor, we had an air host, we had a mother, we had a business entrepreneur, we had a model, we had actor, we had a mix of all kind of women. The whole idea, and that's where empowerment comes in, is if there is a platform, everyone can play.
Right.
आपको ये नहीं देखना कि आप प्रोफेशनल स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर हैं तो ही आप खेल सकते हैं. आप एज अ मदर भी खेल सकते हैं, एज अ डॉक्टर भी खेल सकते हैं. इट इज ओनली अबाउट द विल एंड द डिजायर टू प्ले.
राइट.
ऑल्सो एक एम्पावरमेंट ड्राइव इस तरह से कि आप अगर 1 घंटा भी अपनी लाइफ का स्पोर्ट्स के लिए निकाल लें, it is a time spent for yourself.
Right.
And again, the benefits of sports, right from अगर हम community बोलते हैं, health बोलते हैं, spiritual बोलो, emotional बोलो, every way sports has its benefits.
Right.
So the idea was to bring women from various aspects, get them together, and we were one of the best teams in our first season. We also won the second season. And that's when my journey of being a sports entrepreneur started. From owning this team in a league where I could support. And I think that's what empowered me to be able to empower more women to go out there and play.
Right. So, ma'am, you just mentioned about empowerment. So while we talk about empowerment, that means you had studied the industry, you had found out certain loopholes, you had analyzed the situation wherein कहाँ पे loopholes है, क्या क्या missing है, कि इस पे empowerment की जरूरत है, इस पे awareness लाने की जरूरत है. So, according to your perspective, why did you feel like empowering through sports? अभी स्पोर्ट्स एक बहुत नीश हो जाता है. लॉट ऑफ पीपल लाइक जैसे है दे डू नॉट कनेक्ट टू स्पोर्ट्स, या फिर इंडियन पेरेंट्स आल्सो उनका थोड़ा सा मेंटालिटी वैसा रहता है दैट स्पोर्ट्स पे तो करियर बना देंगे, बट व्हाट अबाउट द बैकअप? एजुकेशन इज द मेन की. लाइक जहाँ पे इंजीनियरिंग, डॉक्टर्स, बहुत सारे एथलीट्स जो शो में आए हैं, दे हैव talked about their parents not supporting them for their game and stuff like that. So why did you decide empowering through sports is very necessary?
You know, just like you said, all the things that you said कि athletes जब आते हैं बोलते हैं कि parents support नहीं करते हैं, simply because sports को कभी भी as a career option देखा ही नहीं गया था, right? As Indians, हमारी culture हमेशा education based रही है. Our skill sets have also been education based. A lot of them previously. Today we are looking at different skill sets and various various career options. Sports being one of them. Again, because there are opportunities today, a parent can think कि हाँ मेरा बेटा भी विराट कोहली बन सकता है या वो सिंधु बन सकती है, simply because sports is bringing money.
Right.
At the end of the day, and I feel it is fair enough, because if you're living a life and money is a key aspect of life, then obviously as a human psyche, whether you are a parent or you're not, but as a human psyche, you will always look at where am I going to be able to earn money from, right? So up today, sports has become an option with which and through which you can earn money for yourself and for your family. Right. Which is where now again mindset is shifting. Why I looked at sports purely comes from my own passion for sports as a child, because I love sports. I love playing sports. Right. मैंने जो gap देखा था वो ये था कि up to college equally लड़की लड़कियां सब खेल रहे हैं, right? लड़के लड़कियां सब buildings में देख लो, आप clubs में देख लो, सब जगह देख लो, चाहे वो तब का जमाना हो या आज का.
Right.
Girls and boys are equally participative in playing.
Right.
अब वो प्रोफेशनल स्पोर्ट्स की बात नहीं कर रहे, हम रेगुलर एज अ कल्चर बात कर रहे हैं. बट जैसे ही गर्ल्स स्टार्ट गेटिंग इनटू कॉलेज, somehow there is more dropouts. अब we are not going to get into the reasons, because
Right.
obviously there are several reasons, right? From religion to culture to family to education to getting married to several, and with cases coming out, all kind of harassments. There's lots that goes on where women drop out of sports.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, once they have stopped playing, they get into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You never see women go out there and play.
Mm-hmm.
हमने कभी ये नहीं देखा है बॉयज का होता है ना, आज संडे है, आज तो मेरा क्रिकेट डे है, राइट? आज सैटरडे नाइट हम सारे बॉयज मिलके फुटबॉल खेलते हैं,
Right.
सबका है ये, राइट? मोस्ट बॉयज, मोस्ट मेन, शादी के बाद भी a lot of men you will see Sunday is for cricket. They take the boys along, they take the kids along. So let's not even distinguish कि वो उनके सिर्फ बेटों को लेके जाते हैं, बेटियों को भी लेके जाते हैं, मगर बीवियां तो कभी नहीं खेल रही होती है, right? I'm sorry. The wives are never playing. So the thing being that that is where I thought, why is it that the women are not playing?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that we do not have a culture of sports or activity or any kind of physical engagement as a family?
Right.
As a family, हम सिर्फ ये सोचते हैं कि कहाँ जाके खाएं,
Mm-hmm.
कहाँ वेकेशन करें,
Mm-hmm.
but as a family हम ये नहीं सोचते कि चलो हम सब जाके क्रिकेट खेलते हैं,
Right.
या हम सब जाके बैडमिंटन खेलते हैं, लेट्स बुक अ कोर्ट एंड हम 4 जन जाके खेलेंगे,
Right.
चलो लेट्स टेक अ ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स. सो वी डोंट हैव दैट एज अ कल्चर, एंड इसमें किसी की गलती नहीं है, कभी था ही नहीं.
Right.
अब द थिंग इज कि अब हम क्या कर सकते हैं, right? Today you are taking this interview, you have people who are going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
They will think about, okay, what can I do for this?
Right.
In the same way, I have seen people, I've heard people, I've observed things, and I'm like, okay, what can I do for this?
Mm-hmm.
And just that's where it all started.
Right. That's a really like amazing and inspiring story, because people really need a different perspective to look at sports, and the way you have put certain things across. Like मैं खुद सोच में पड़ गया कि यार एज अ फैमिली मैं तो बाहर नहीं गया था कभी स्पोर्ट्स खेलने या व्हाटएवर इट इज, तो बहुत सारे लोगों को एक डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव मिलेगा. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट मैम. But you are the founder of Go Beyond Sports as well. So can you just talk us through your journey? How did Go Beyond Sports happen, and when was that time you decided to establish something like Go Beyond Sports? When did this happen?
Go Beyond Sports was, I think, more of an offshoot of Magica Asteria.
Okay.
When I took the team, I think it was 2017 or 2018. 2017 is then for those 2 years when I owned the team and I saw women, and I also organized an event myself. I got involved with so many things. I just realized that, okay, why not turn this into a passion project? Why not make it into a business? Because I was always entrepreneurial in my head, even if I didn't really do anything up until that point, which was significant enough for me. And that's when I just said, okay, let me convert this into a company. And hence, Magica Asteria Sports is the name of the company, and Go Beyond Sports the brand under it. Go Beyond Sport then started for me in a way where I thought कि अब infrastructure है, सबके पास खेलने के equipments है, सब कुछ है. But the gap that you were talking about is कि बहुत लोगों को आगे बढ़ने के लिए रैकेट और शटल मिल जाता है, ग्राउंड मिल जाता है, बट लेट्स से प्रॉपर गाइडेंस नहीं मिलती, या लेट्स से प्रॉपर न्यूट्रिशन क्या लेना. एंड आई एम टॉकिंग नाउ पर्टिकुलरली जो लोग स्पोर्ट्स एज अ करियर ऑप्शन देख रहे हैं, और फॉर पीपल हु आर लुकिंग एट बिकमिंग प्रोफेशनल players, or they want to be elite players, and they're looking at wanting to represent their country nationally, internationally, just play. For a lot of them, there was this gap about having to find the right support system in terms of sports experts. So whether you're looking at psychologists, you're looking at nutritionists, you're looking at performance, you're looking at analytics, you're looking at probably a physiologist, plethora of them over there. So then the whole idea was that, okay, what can we do to connect those dots, bring it to people? And the way I started was probably just the nicer way that you started, and was to become a voice.
Right.
So I started my YouTube channel under Go Beyond Sports. I had several interviews, right from players to elite players to Olympians to sports experts to people in sports business. I think we're all trying to sort of just build an awareness in whatever way we can.
Right. This is a really an inspiring thing as well, because being a voice and creating that awareness, I think somewhere we need to become a sporting nation right now, because we have a lot of talent and a lot of players right from smaller districts also, which have a really huge talent. So in that thing also aligned the Fit India movement, which the government of India started, wherein to motivate fitness, to motivate so that we can promote fitness in a better way, create that awareness. And you were the Fit India ambassador for the government of India, Ministry of Sports and Affairs. And what according to you, so you must have observed the fitness industry like very closely. आपने बहुत ज्यादा लोगों को fitness के लिए inspire भी किया होगा, खुद भी उतने fit हो आप. And what did you think, according to you, the fitness industry went through a transformation right now? हम लोग भी अभी देखते हैं जैसे gyms अभी बहुत भरे हुए रहते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग jogging करने चाहते हैं, they have maintained a sedentary lifestyle से बहुत healthy lifestyle की तरफ आ गए हैं. So what do you think कि fitness industry a decade back कैसे थी and अभी कैसी है, like down the line 5 years कैसे होगी? What do you think about it? How has it changed? या people's perspective to look at the fitness industry has changed?
I think I would be very grateful to COVID for that. This whole COVID and Corona has really brought us down to our knees,
Right.
literally, because those were the times when we all realized कि हम कितने healthy हैं,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it starts with your question कि मैं कितनी healthy हूँ. It doesn't happen कि मैं भाग सकती हूँ 100 meters 10 सेकंड में या नहीं.
Right.
क्या मैं भाग सकती हूँ?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question. Can I even run?
Mm-hmm.
Can I even have my heart rate elevated at a certain point? Can I even climb steps? जब लोगों की let's say lift बंद हो जाती है, क्या आप 4 floors climb कर भी पाते हैं कि नहीं?
Mm-hmm.
It starts from there.
Right.
अब now to become healthy, either you take up sports or you take up any activity that gives you some kind of movement to your body.
Right.
Right? Again, बहुत individualistic है
Mm-hmm.
because कुछ लोग कोई चीज नहीं कर पाते हैं. तो अगर मुझे नी प्रॉब्लम है और मैं सोचूं मैं रोज स्प्रिंट करूंगी, I might not survive it for a long time, right? Because eventually I might start having issues with movement related or overuse of my knees. It could be several other things.
Right.
I would say that this entire shift and the trend with little voices like you and me, and then giant voices like the corporates and the governments,
Right.
they are all taking it forward. Everybody is trying to push it. It is a slow and steady habit change that we are making as human beings.
Right.
And अगर corona and virus या अगर ये जो health scare की moment पे अगर आपको तभी नहीं सूझा कि मुझे हेल्दी बनना है या मुझे अपनी लाइफ चेंज करनी है, तो इतने डिफिकल्ट मोमेंट से गुजरने के बाद अगर कोई इंसान नहीं बदलेगा तो यू वेस्टेड दैट मोमेंट.
Right.
तब आई फील दैट इफ यू लुक एट इट इन हाइंडसाइट, इट वाज गॉड सेंट फॉर अ होल लॉट ऑफ अस हु आर हेल्दी टुडे आउट ऑफ इट, हु हैव गुड लाइव्स, एंड थैंक यू गॉड फॉर इट. अगर हमने हमारे लेसन्स नहीं सीखे तो समवेयर वी लॉस्ट द प्लॉट. सो एंड आई थिंक दैट इज वेयर obviously the industry jumped in, obviously governments jumped in, corporates jumped in, because it's an opportunity. It's also a window where ki chalo, now that there is awareness, let's help grow it. And I think that's what all of us are doing. So you know, people have taken up to sports, they've taken up to gymming, they've taken up to running, swimming, jisko jo acha lage, because itni opportunities hai.
Right.
तो आप choose करिए.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And people, COVID के वजह से, COVID has been blessing because people को तभी realize हुआ, लोगों को तभी realize हुआ कि एक healthy होना, immunity boost करना या फिर immunity रखना वो कितना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हो जाता है. इस वजह से fitness industry is definitely going to change more and transform होने वाले और ज़्यादा. The way you mentioned about certain things in the previous question about the fitness industry, and it really is here to change. And nowadays people are also getting motivated to take up fitness as a career or just as a tool to remain fit and to become healthy. So moving on, we have spoken about your journey quite a lot. It's really and indeed been a very long journey, a very inspiring journey. तो अक्सर लोगों को बहुत वही दिखता है जो हम दिखाते हैं, लाइक वी लुक एट द वी शो देम द जर्नी, द सक्सेस, हाउ हम लोग ने कुछ चीजें अचीव की है, बट दे डोंट नो अबाउट the hurdles, the obstacles which came in between, and you have hurdled your way towards success. Do you remember any such moment or any memorable moment which is a really part of your career, really part of your journey, and आपको देख के ऐसा लगता है कि ये टाइम पे बहुत ज्यादा डाउनफॉल था? बिकॉज एज अ स्पोर्ट्समैन माई सेल्फ आई रिलेट, बिकॉज स्पोर्ट्स में बहुत रिजेक्शन आते हैं, बहुत डाउनफॉल आते हैं। ऐसा मोमेंट आता है कि एक पॉइंट पे ऐसा लगता है दैट आई शुड जस्ट गिव अप एंड टेक अप समथिंग एल्स, बट ऐसे सब मोमेंट्स आपके जिंदगी में भी रहे रहेंगे, आपके लाइफ में भी रहे रहेंगे इतने लॉन्ग जर्नी में। सो ऐसा कोई मेमोरेबल इंसिडेंट या मोमेंट आपको याद आता है जहाँ पे यू थॉट एवरीथिंग वाज जस्ट फिनिश, या फिर एक हेवायर सिचुएशन में हो, chaotic सिचुएशन में हो, एंड देन यू hurdled your way towards success? Do you remember any such moment?
तो लेट मी से कि मैंने मैं ट्रेन्ड प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर नहीं थी, ओके, ना हूँ अभी तक।
Right.
Badminton I took up, I think, about 5-6 years ago, just to start playing as a sport, because my journey has been बहुत ही typical, जो बहुत सारी इंडियन औरतों की होती है कि आप बचपन में जो किया आपने किया, फिर आप कॉलेज जा रहे हैं, आपकी शादी हो गई, आपके बच्चे हो गए, एंड यू आर इन्वॉल्व्ड इन एवरीडे लाइफ। आई वुड जस्ट से कि चलो आई एम ब्लेस्ड टू बी इन अ प्लेस कि जहाँ काम करने की जरूरत नहीं थी, या आप उस टाइप की कल्चर सोसाइटी में है जहाँ पर औरतें नहीं जाती हैं बाहर बात काम करने। तो मेरा भी वही जर्नी रहा है, बट बिकॉज मेरी पैशन फॉर स्पोर्ट्स हमेशा इतनी ज्यादा थी कि समवेयर मुझे लगा कि नहीं, एंड आई एम अ मदर ऑफ 3 kids, and after having my 3 kids, I realized that I said, but this is not done right, because today if I'm empowering my kids to go out and play and they don't see me playing, while I'm so passionate about my own sport, how is that a message to them?
Right.
How is it a message to my girls where they will also say that, oh, but maybe at the age that mom is, we don't play sport. But today when they look at me playing sport, when I keep telling them, yeah, even if I'm 60 70, एक medal to India का जरूर लाना है, that's my inspiration, right? And that is what I'm teaching my girls, or
Right.
my child for that matter, my boy for that matter, that you don't give up, you don't give up on your dreams, you don't give up on your hope, and there is no age for it. Even at the age of 80s and 90s in India itself, we have medal winners. We have, the Haryana grandmom, I forget her name, who's won gold medals.
Right.
So why not? And मेरी भी चाहत है कि मैं भी इंडिया के लिए खेलूं, मगर इंडिया के लेवल के लिए तो बनना पड़ेगा ना पहले। तो वहां मेरी कष्ट और मेरी जर्नी है कि अब at this age that I am, and after having 3 children, obviously बॉडी जितनी सपोर्ट करेगी बस उतनी ही करेगी। ड्रीम्स चाहे यहाँ हो, बट सपोर्ट भी तो होना चाहिए ना।
Right.
So obviously when I started, अब because it's a veteran circuit, and I'm talking about बैडमिंटन, तो आपके जो जूनियर सर्किट के प्लेयर्स हैं या आपके इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स हैं जो पहले बचपन से they've been playing badminton,
Right.
or they've been trained for it, or they're technically sounder than you are, or most of them are coaches today. So when they come to play at these national tournaments, it is very obvious कि उनका upper edge आपसे होने ही वाला है, right? And here I am, नई नई जो शुरू की है, नया नया I'm trying. अभी तक मैंने ढंग से शायद कोचिंग, ट्रेनिंग, फुटवर्क, शटल रन्स कुछ भी नहीं किया है। I'm trying, okay, कि चलो आज कर लिया, फिर पता चला अरे 10 दिन तक बच्चों की एग्जाम है ना, I can't go for my own class. So as a mother, as a woman, you're facing these hurdles every single day. So my polarity here is कि मन में and ambition में and desires में तो बहुत कुछ है, but whether I'm able to do it on a daily basis, right? Because I'm not able to put that much time to my sport कि मैं सुबह भी sport कर लूँ, शाम को भी कर लूँ, or I'm only thinking about it, visualizing it. A sport demands all these things at a professional level, right? Absolutely, you're only eating, drinking, sleeping your sport.
Right.
But me today, where I am as probably a social person or an entrepreneur or a mother or a wife or a daughter-in-law, bahu, जो भी आप हो, उनके सबके दायरे में आपकी स्पोर्ट्स पूरी जिंदगी नहीं बन जाती है. स्पोर्ट्स सिर्फ एक स्मॉल हिस्सा होती है. So obviously, but मैं जा रही हूँ and I'm playing, I have faced rejections because those people think कि यार ये हमारे लेवल की नहीं है. It's very obvious it's going to happen. 2 दिन पहले मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ that we literally lost on the last point. फिर भी my partner was very upset with me कि यार you didn't play very well. जबकि मुझे भी पता है she played phenomenal. I got a nervous moment जो मेरी गेम बैठ ही नहीं रही थी. So when you are standing out there as a 30, 40, 50-year-old, आपको तो दुनिया भर का स्ट्रेस है आपके कंधों पर. And आपने कभी compete नहीं किया है, so you will have nervous moments. And these are questions I'd asked even the most professional players or Olympians तक को कि don't you ever get that jitters when you're standing there at the last point? Just imagine, हम तो ये local pressure की बात कर रहे हैं. जब let's say Chirag Shetty is taking his last point and he knows he's playing it for his country.
Right.
Imagine the kind of stress he must be going through, right? Or maybe a Virat Kohli or forget even regular people who are competing for the first time. So there is a lot of mental stress which you feel internally, and then there's a lot of stress externally. So for me also, every tournament I go, it is the same. मेरे खुद की भी stress होती है, environment की भी stress होती है, body की भी stress होती है, because now your body doesn't recover that easily. Obviously फिर injuries हो जाती हैं. It is very very demotivating on a regular basis where you feel कि आज suppose evening में I have my coaching, but my child is going to come back home and says no, I have extra homework, I need you to sit with me. So you feel कि यार मैं अपना छोड़ दूं, let me obviously support them first. That becomes your first demotivation factor because you feel कि no, I cannot do this anymore. अच्छा छोड़ो, मेरे बस की नहीं है. I got so on a daily basis, you have to wake up and you have to tell yourself, okay, no, I'm doing it for me. I want to do it. So आपकी passion अगर इतनी ज़्यादा होगी, only then you'll be able to wake up day in and day out and actually want to do it. And I think it's not just my story, सबकी यही story होती है.
Right. So what I feel basically कि women are slightly more powerful than men because I am very much sure कि if a man is put into a situation where he has to handle everything, he'll just go chaotic because we tend to be more careless. Men tend to be more careless about certain things, and the way women sacrifice certain things, I guess. Being a mother and then coming into sports, उसका बहुत अच्छा उदाहरण मेरी कॉम का है जहाँ पे even after delivering twins she went on to become a world champion, she 5 times world champion in boxing. तो women have always been upper hand and वो powerful का strength है ही. तो that is really hats off to you. But you have been connected to the sports industry. आपने बहुत ज़्यादा sports खेला भी है, अभी खेल भी रहे हो, अभी जिस तरीके से trends और technicalities बदल रहे, आप खेल भी रहे हो, आप देख भी रहे हो. So where do you want to take sports in India and where do you vision sports in India कि 10 years down the line, a decade या फिर 5 years down the line, sports in India would really change or really bloom? What do you think about it? And where do you want to take sports in India?
I think मेरा तो बहुत ही simple है कि like I mentioned, जब कोई फैमिली बोले संडेज को चलो हम जाके खेलते हैं, I think it's enough for me. We've achieved it. Where the grandmothers and the grandfathers step out there and play with their children because they're fit enough to do it, I think we've achieved a healthy, fit nation. And Indian sports, जो हमारी cultural indigenous sports है, बहुत ही involving रही है. We have a lot of games that are local to India, right? A local to a community. अगर हम वो sports में भी indulge करना शुरू करें, there is a certain level of activity that everyone can have, and I think all of us are aiming towards that. But keeping that aside, if we are looking at professionalism, and obviously we are looking at the opportunity that such a, today we are the most populous nation of the world. So imagine the number, it's just sheer number of people that can actually take it up as a sport. or
Mhm.
take up a sport as a career.
Mhm.
So, of course, everybody is at it. Again, coming back to someone like you who's spreading it, somebody like me who's talking about it, it's the organizations, it's businesses, it's
Mhm.
governments, corporates, people, movements. There's a lot that is going on. When there is so much collective force that is coming in together, there is
Mhm.
bound to be progress.
Mhm.
Whether we've defined that progress in terms of numbers or in terms of a stat or a ratio, I think I'd rather leave it up to the experts
Mhm.
for who do it.
Right.
I would only want to see what is my contribution in this.
Right.
5 years from now, we had never ever thought of, or 5 years earlier, let me put it this way, we had never thought there was something like a coronavirus that could come into our lives.
Right.
So as an individual today, post corona,
Mhm.
I have stopped thinking of what is 5 years from hence, what
Right.
is 10 years goal. I
Right.
don't do this.
Mhm.
I am only looking at what today and then what tomorrow,
Right.
because I don't know,
Mhm.
right? It is
Mhm.
good to make the goals, and of course, because it leads you to a direction.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm not looking at a bucket goal, stat number. I'm not looking at those things anymore.
Right.
I'm only looking at where I am, what I can do, and what can happen further.
Right. Exactly. So basically we spoke about awareness, and जिस तरीके से आपने भी बोला कि कोरोना के बाद we don't know what is going to happen next, but sports में लोग अभी बहुत ज़्यादा passionate भी हो रहे हैं, fitness के तरफ जा रहे हैं, but there are also certain amount of people or certain percentage of people जिनका mindset बदल ही नहीं सकता. जैसे there are certain things जहाँ पे हम लोग news सुनते हैं कि there's an athlete जिनको Olympic medal मिला है, but now he's selling peanuts, जहाँ पे गोल्ड मेडल बेचने पे आ जाते हैं एथलीट्स बिकॉज़ दे डोंट हैव दैट अपॉर्च्युनिटीज़ और लाइमलाइट ओवर इट. सो इस वजह से पेरेंट्स या फिर जो लोग स्पोर्ट्स से कनेक्टेड नहीं है, उनके माइंडसेट को स्विच करना टुवर्ड्स स्पोर्ट्स, टू स्विच करना टुवर्ड्स द फिटनेस इंडस्ट्री, ये बहुत ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. सो व्हाट एडवाइस और क्या देना चाहोगे आप उनको, एक एक ओपिनियन अबाउट योर थिंग कि हाउ कैन वी चेंज द माइंडसेट ऑफ सच काइंड ऑफ पीपल?
आई थिंक जो कुछ ये स्टोरीज होती हैं, अनफॉर्चुनेट होती हैं. कोई एक इंडस्ट्री ये सोच के नहीं करता है कि हमारे पास इस टाइप की स्टोरीज निकले,
राइट.
राइट? देयर इज नो बिजनेस दैट वांट्स these kind of human stories which talk about extreme struggle. Everybody out there is trying to make it happen for the rest of the world, whether it is the larger corporates who've taken up agendas and they want to make an impact. What happens on an individual level, unfortunately, is not in the hands of a lot of people who are sitting out there making the policies.
Right.
How it trickles down to right down to the base is really not something that is controlled or controllable. There are incidents, there are unfortunate stories in every single industry, whether it is sports, whether it is medical, whether it's glamour, entertainment, education, you will always find this. But yes, then the bigger question is, how do we bridge this? And what do we do so that we do not have such unfortunate incidences? Like, coming back to earlier, there was not so much of sports emphasis, which is why when people played sport, when they took on to being it as a career, it was more out of a desire or more out of a passion. आज अगर लोग स्पोर्ट्स के करियर को देखते हैं तो पैसे बनाने का जरिया भी सोचते हैं, राइट? तो टुडे, आज आपको अगर एक बडिंग स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन बनना है तो आपके पास बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं कि आप देखो कि आप अपने करियर को कैसे मैप आउट करोगे. बहुत लोग हैं जिनसे आप जाके एडवाइस ले सकते हैं. तो ये एक पार्ट एंड पार्सल ऑफ अ ग्रोइंग इंडस्ट्री है. जब इंडिया ने फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कप जीता था तब उनके पास तो खुद के पास सपोर्ट नहीं था, राइट? हमने सबने स्टोरीज पढ़ी है, मूवीज देखी है, इंटरव्यूज पढ़े हैं. दोज पीपल वर नॉट बिलीव्ड even by their own people. So this is a part and any growth that happens, चाहे वो individual level पे हो या एक industry के level पे हो, तो
Right.
sports का भी वही है. अब हम सिर्फ ये देखें कि जो लोग चाहते हैं कि वो प्रोफेशनल बने, तो हम उनको क्या राह दें, हम उनको क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज दें, और इस टाइप की स्टोरीज को जितना हम रिड्यूस कर सके. सी, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे आप ह्यूमन एग्जिस्टेंस से बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं हटा पाएंगे. एज एन इंडिविजुअल, इवन एज अ गवर्नमेंट, वो उतना ही कर सकते हैं ना.
Right.
हर एक इंडिविजुअल की खुद की भी तो जर्नी होती है. There could have been moments where you have made mistakes with your own investments, right?
Exactly.
If you have made investment mistakes, it's not a stock market problem. It is your individual problem. You cannot then say, oh my God, but the stock market is so volatile that, यहाँ तो क्या होता है पता नहीं है, लोग बर्बाद हो गए हैं. बट लोग बर्बाद हुए बिकॉज शायद उन्होंने भी तो गलतियां की होगी ना. तो इतने लोग जो प्रोग्रेस करके बड़े हुए हैं, तो उन्होंने क्या किया फिर, राइट? सो आई थिंक I always like not to get into blame game. I prefer looking at what is possible and where are we looking at a solution for what we see is happening.
Right. Exactly. So basically, I think ये पॉडकास्ट के थ्रू बहुत सारे लोगों की पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज हो गई है टू लुक एट स्पोर्ट्स, एंड बहुत सारे लोगों को इंस्पिरेशन भी मिली है टू टेक अप स्पोर्ट्स. मे बी समवन हु इज not in that teenage phase, someone who is a veteran, someone who is a mother right now. So बहुत सारे लोगों ने आपको देख के बहुत इंस्पिरेशन मिली होगी उनको. You are an example of an inspiration basically. So final question ma'am to you, कि जो अभी हमको सुन रहे हैं, जो अभी हमको देख रहे हैं, एंड जो स्पोर्ट्स एंथुसियास्ट है, जिनको स्पोर्ट्स में शुरुआत करनी है अपनी जर्नी, या जो स्पोर्ट्स में ऑलरेडी है और दे आर थिंकिंग अबाउट गिविंग अप, सो व्हाट एडवाइस वुड यू गिव to these kind of people, to people who are interested in sports or people who are into sports? So आप क्या एडवाइस देना चाहोगे उनको at this point?
I think listen to your interviews, listen to interviews that go beyond sports. Look at all of the material that's available today, right? See, there's a lot of support available. Online इतना material है, offline इतना material है. तो I just think कि अगर आपको कोई चीज चाहिए, तो you do whatever it takes to get that. तो आप use करिए ना, use all the help that is available to you, the support that is available to you. Reach out to people, reach out to people who are available for you. Right? And try to understand first what it is that you want. Because जब आप में अगर क्लैरिटी आ जाएगी और आपको पता है कि आप वो स्पोर्ट्स जो डिमांड करता है और जो स्ट्रगल डिमांड करता है, आप वो डाल सकते हैं. So then you decide कि okay, yes, I'm ready to do that, what it takes, and now tell me where and how I'm supposed to go forward. And I think that is where people like you and me are trying to find that gap and help people with the little voice that we have to sort of join and connect the dots within the ecosystem, right? And I think that's what I'm trying to do also with Go Beyond Sports. So get onto platforms which give you more information and read and talk to more people.
Right. So thank you so much मैम फॉर दिस, बिकॉज ये पॉडकास्ट से मैं खुद इंस्पायर हुआ हूँ, एंड मैंने बहुत सारे टेक अवेज लिए हैं ये पॉडकास्ट, एंड व्हेन आई एडिट दिस आउट या फिर मैं वापस सुनूंगा ये पॉडकास्ट, मुझे और भी पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे थ्रू दिस पॉडकास्ट. सो थैंक यू सो मच मैम फॉर इंस्पायरिंग ऑल ऑफ अस हु आर लाइक स्टार्टिंग विद मी, एंड जो भी और भी सुन रहे हैं हमें. सो थैंक यू सो मच मैम फॉर योर टाइम, एंड वी आर रियली ऑनर्ड एंड ग्रेटफुल टू हैव यू ऑन द शो. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट मैम.
Thank you, Mithilesh. Thank you so much.
बाय बाय.
Bye-bye.